Okay, so let's continue again. We are in the last part of the discussion here. Yes, I think we stop right here. We are in the last part of the discussion. So we were discussing about the Mahabharata story where Brahma destroys all the three worlds, specifically Swargaloka, Bhuloka, and those worlds which are lower than the earth. The earth is called as Bhuloka. Swargaloka is the heaven where the lower devatas dwell, Indra and associated devatas or gods such as Chandra, Surya, etc. They dwell there. And Bhuloka is earth where human beings are born and they die and they take reincarnation on earth. And there are also temporary hells where the Daityas or Asuras or demons are there, and it is also a place where souls are punished by Yama. So by destroying these three worlds, reincarnation could not take place, and because of that, Stanu was asking his father Brahma to not do that and allow reincarnation to take place. Okay. I also told earlier that Brahma himself is taking reincarnation on very large time scales. The time scales is in terms of human years, trillions of years. And this time scale is there in the Puranas as well. So Brahma himself is taking reincarnation here on a very large time scale. So reincarnation did not start at this point. Reincarnation was already there. Vishnu creates Brahma first. According to the hierarchy, Lord Brahma was created, and thereafter Brahma creates others. When Vishnu creates Lord Brahma, that is, Vedic god Vishnu creates Lord Brahma first time, he is given a body made out of Mahat. It is one of the first principles, very subtle material which is created, and Brahma's body is made out of Mahat at this point. With this body of Mahat, Brahma occupies the entire universe, and then he starts creating. So this is the story in the Mahabharata as well. But the story preceding it, how Brahma was created, that was not given in these particular chapters in the Mahabharata, and therefore Jerry gets pretty confused. Okay, so what is the proof that Brahma himself is created? There are some proofs which I already gave you from Rig Veda. I will go through that again later, but I will start with Upanishads. And in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it is very clearly given that Brahma is created. Okay, so what do we see in this verse? 1:4:1 Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Atma va idam agra asit purusha vidaha so anuvikshiya na anyad atmano apashyat so aham asit iti agre. Okay, so what it says is, first, Atma va idam agra asit. What does it mean? Atma refers to Vishnu himself, Vedic god Vishnu himself. So agra, the word agra means before anything. Okay, so before anything, Atma was there. Asit means it was there. So Vishnu himself was there. Only he himself was active at this point of time. And then Vishnu created in the shape of Purusha. In the shape of Purusha, which is Purusha refers to as a name of Vishnu. In the shape of Purusha, Brahma also existed because he was created by them. Okay, Purusha Vidaha means like Purusha or a reflection of Purusha. So this means Vedic god Vishnu created Brahma as his own reflection. Okay, so this is the first dependent being which was created here. Okay, then what did Brahma do? He looked around and he said he could not see anybody but his own self. So that is what it says. So anuvikshya na anyat, not anybody else, atmano, only himself, pashyat, so aham asmi. So he said, having seen nobody else, Brahma said, I am. Because he could not see anybody else or anything else, he could not see Vishnu also. So he said, I am. Therefore, even now, we say, I am so and so. Okay? So, what does the word aham here means? Aham here means, actually, aham is also a name of Vishnu. You will see that later. Okay? So, he said, and Brahma said, I am. Therefore, even now we say, whenever somebody asks your name, we say, I am so and so. That is what it means here. Because he from long before, because Brahma and also Vishnu burnt out all the evils or all the sins from before, therefore he is called as Purusha. Okay, so Vishnu is primarily called as Purusha here, the first burner of sins, and Brahma is also called as the burner of sins because right after Vishnu, he is also created as an image of Vishnu, and therefore he also burnt all the sins. So this is the meaning here. The same meaning is given in a commentary form by Madhvacharya here. We can read through that. Again, here it says idam agre means prior to this, before this creation, the Supreme Self alone exists. That Atma means Supreme Self. In Isavasya Upanishad, Isavasyam idam sarvam, it says that. But in Bhagavatam, if you see that, Atma Vasya idam sarvam. So Atma here refers to Ishwar. Okay, so there is no difference between Ishwar and Atma. They are identical and they are different names for the Supreme Being. Okay, the Vedic God is referred to by these names. From him alone, from him arose Brahma, who was like Purusha himself, who was like, or a reflection of Purusha himself. Purusha here is Vishnu. Okay, since Brahma was like unto Vishnu, he is called Purusha Vida. Okay, so in the Sanskrit words, you can see Purusha Vida. It means he was like Vishnu. Okay, and therefore he is called so. Okay, so but what is the proof for this? Madhvacharya quotes Brahmatarka. This is one of the works which is unfortunately not available, but during Madhvacharya's time this was available, and even Advaitis did not contend with this. Many of the texts like these were lost, unfortunately lost. Even Shankaracharya quotes many texts which are lost and we do not have access now. I do not remember the list of texts of Shankaracharya as well, but there are some common texts quoted both by Shankaracharya and Madhvacharya which the texts are missing as of now. Okay, so this being aside, Brahmatarka, from the Brahmatarka, the Supreme Narayana existed before the creation of this world. He was alone with Shri. Shri refers to Lakshmi Devi. Him they call Atman and Purusha also. That is, Narayana is referred to as Atman and Purusha. From the Lord arose Brahma unto like Purusha. Okay, so like unto Purusha. So this is what Brahmatarka says, and Madhvacharya quotes this text as the authority to prove the interpretation given in Chandogya Upanishad. So we can see from these texts, this is the case. Now, if you read the next text also, it is very clear that it cannot be Atma here. these verses here, it is starting from here, it is talking about Brahma. And then if you go to the second verse, you can see this is the Chaturmukha Brahma, or the first being created, the four-faced Brahma. He is the first being who is created, and we can clearly see that he became frightened. But in Isāvāsya Upanishad, it is very clearly given that Atma is never afraid of anyone. Okay, there is a verse which clearly says that he is not afraid of anybody, but everything fears him. One of the Isāvāsya Upanishad verses clearly states that. I think I don't remember the verse as such, but one of the verses clearly state that all his creation is afraid of him, but he fears none. Okay, so here from that verse we can clearly see that this cannot be Atma, but it is the first being who was created, became frightened because he was alone. Therefore, even now, a man who is alone becomes frightened. Then, verily, he reflected that since there is no other to resist me, then who am I afraid of? Hence, this fear altogether went away. So, clearly, this is not the Vedic God, but the very first being who is created, and it clearly says that he became frightened, and then he understands that he is the only one in the creation, and then later he comes to know about Vedic God Vishnu by doing meditation. Okay, so this is just to show. Why did I quote this verse? Okay, let's go back here again. This is just to show that Brahma himself has taken a reincarnation. How, when he created, when Brahma was himself created, he was given a body made out of a material called Mahat. These are subtle materials which are created in the beginning of creation. These are subtle, very subtle material principles. Okay, so Brahma's body is completely different from the bodies of even other devatas or gods. Okay, so Brahma becomes the controller of Mahat. So we'll talk about that later. So he has already taken an incarnation. Okay, Brahma has already taken an incarnation. Only his body is much different from that of a human body. We should not think this body is like a human body. Okay. There are further evidences. For example, in Brahma Sutra Bhashya, again this was quoted earlier, so I am not giving the exact Brahma Sutra sutta here. So we are just quoting and recalling what has been given earlier. Okay. So there are many verses here, for example, which show from Rig Veda 10:125.5. Okay. 125th Sutta, which is called as Ambrani Sutta or Devi Sutta. Devi is stopping there. And the 5th verse from Mandala 10. What does it say? Whomever I like, I make him Rudra or Shiva, the fierce. Okay, so the Sanskrit verse says Ugra. Ugra is the name of Lord Shiva. Okay, she says she makes anybody Ugra or Shiva, and then she makes anybody whom she likes Brahma. So this refers to, actually the word used is Brahman, but it refers to the four-faced Brahma. Okay. There are many other verses. For example, in the same Sutta 125.7, which I already quoted, she again refers to Brahma as the father. Okay, the father or the first being who was created and who was made superior to all others because he was the first being who was created. So here she says again, Aham suve pitaram asya murdam mamayonirapshva antas samudre. Again, it clearly says I am the one, that is Devi is the one who created Itaram, that is the Brahma, who is superior to all others, or who is situated in Satyaloka, which is the highest world within the material universe. So, clear reference to Brahma here again. There are many other verses. For example, here in 10.125, same sukta, Devi says, I string the bow of Lord Shiva, who brings, again here it is clearly stated as a Rudra in singular, referring to Lord Shiva, who brings miseries on the haters of Brahman. Indeed, for it says killing him, rather this is the final dissolution of the universe. When the entire universe is dissolved, even Lord Shiva loses his body, which is made out of Ahankara Tattva. Okay, while Brahma is made out of Mahat Tattva, the son of Brahma, who is Lord Shiva here, he is made out of Ahankara Tattva, and even his body is destroyed along with Brahma's body, and they attain moksha from this point of time. So there are many such verses. Again, you can see 745, Rudru Rudriyam Mahitvam, it says this verse, 745. It clearly says that by worshipping Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva obtained his possession of Lord Shiva. And then you have Mahanarayana Upanishad. Narayana was alone there. There was neither Brahma nor Ishana, because all these were not created yet or not given a body. Brahma was not given a body out of Mahat Tattva, neither was Lord Shiva given a body out of Ahankara Tattva. None of them existed in the sense that they did not have a body yet. Okay, nor were there Agni, Soma, etc. Only Narayana existed. Okay, so all these prove that, prove clearly that reincarnation was there even before Brahma came into being. So the story quoted by Jerry, okay, unfortunately this went off. I have to reload this particular page. Let me see. Okay, maybe. All right. Okay, so let's go back to the page. Okay. So the Mahabharata story, which was quoted earlier, this is after Brahma was created. But Brahma himself is in reincarnation cycle in very large time scales. Not knowing this, Jerry quotes the story and thinks that reincarnation started at this point. Rather, this is the reincarnation started within the Brahma Kalpa, or within the lifetime of Brahma. Okay, so this is the story simply says how reincarnation started within the lifetime of Brahma. Okay, not that reincarnation started for the first time here. Okay, so I think this answers Jerry's question very clearly, and we can quickly go through this. The translations which were given are according to Sri Madhvacharya. Whichever translation you take, even Shankaracharya's translation, even if you take, finally you will know that it is talking about Hiranyagarbha, Chaturmukha Brahma, the four-faced Brahma who has come into creation with a body, and does not talk about human body of Brahma. Rather, it talks about a body made out of substance called Mahat. This is the most subtlest substance, and Brahma has his body made out of Mahat. With this body made out of Mahat, he creates other beings, including Lord Shiva. He creates other material principles, which is called as Ahankara Tattva, and then out of Ahankara Tattva, he creates Lord Shiva as well. Okay, through his mind. His mind-born son is called as Lord Shiva. Okay, so then we see from there that the Mahabharata story merely talks about how Brahma allowed reincarnation for lower beings, the beings which dwell in much lower hierarchy than Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Okay, so reincarnation for human beings and devatas who are at a lower level in hierarchy to Brahma and Lord Shiva are those like Indra and others. Devatas like Indra and others, they are lower, and also we are much lower than Lord Indra and other gods. While Brahma and Lord Shiva live in the most subtle and higher worlds, these higher worlds are called as Satyaloka and Kailasha. These are never touched in the destruction which is mentioned in Mahabharata. These worlds were never touched. Satyaloka and Kailasha was never touched. Other devatas like Lord Indra, Surya, etc. live in lower, subtler worlds, which is called as Swargaloka. This is the heavenly region where when men and women die, human beings die. When they die, they go to this. If they have merit, they go to the highest world they can go to is Swargaloka. They can go up to this Swargaloka, and there are sages who can go higher than this Swargaloka. But mostly for human beings, this is the highest limit. You cannot go beyond this world. Even in the material world, you cannot go higher than this world. So the world of Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma is inaccessible to most of the human beings. Maybe very high capacity sages will be able to reach these places. Okay. So Satyaloka and Kailasha, they do not undergo destruction until the entire universe is destroyed. Okay, final dissolution. Only then these worlds are destroyed by Lord Vishnu. After that, they are again created. Okay, so however, in the story, Swargaloka, Bhuvarloka, Bhuloka, and all the hells, they undergo destruction in every day of Brahma, and this is what he did. In every day, he destroys these worlds, and then reincarnation doesn't become possible for some time. One night of Brahma. After that, again, Lord Brahma creates all these worlds and then enables reincarnation to take place. The story which is given in Mahabharata here is most probably the story which happens at the end of every day. And that is what is recounted in the Mahabharata story. Now, quoting this story, unfortunately, Jerry Thomas thinks he has found something which others do not know. Unfortunately, most Hindus also do not know what is happening here and what they are reading. And this happens at the end of every day of Brahma. It's not something new, okay, new for Hindus. Okay, again, if one day of Lord Brahma becomes several millions of human years. Okay, maybe about 8 to 10 million human years. Okay. Or I might be wrong, not 8 to 10 million human years. I think it could be billions. Sorry, 8 billion to 10 billion human years. Okay, in terms of billions, not millions, but billions. Okay, so the lifetime of Brahma himself is in terms of hundreds of trillions of human years. This is the calculation as per Puranas. Anybody can go and check it out. Okay. So in the story, Brahma is said to have destroyed Swarga and lower worlds and not those worlds higher to Swargaloka. Reincarnation of human beings involves rotation of the spirit souls between Swargaloka, Bhuvaloka, Bhuloka, and all the hells, which are down, occupied by the asuras. Since these worlds are itself are destroyed, there is no chance for reincarnation to happen for the lower beings. Hence, Lord Shiva came and asked Lord Brahma and requested him not to destroy the three worlds and enable reincarnation to happen. And this is what is stated in the Mahabharata story. Okay? It has nothing to do with starting of reincarnation process. Lord Brahma also created death to allow reincarnation to happen from this point onwards. It is not that reincarnation was invented at this point of time, as Brahma and Lord Shiva themselves have reincarnated when Satyaloka, Kailasa are created by Lord Vishnu. Only the reincarnation of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are on much larger, grander scale of time, while we are like flies to these devatas in the grand scheme of time of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Okay, so in our case, we are like flies to them who lives for a few seconds and die. Okay, so this is what the story is about. I hope this clears and clears most of the doubts which Jerry Thomas has. And as per the story, the Mahabharata story, it could be the very first day of creation of Brahma. The story could be the very first day of creation by Brahma, right after he was created. Okay, so in the very first day, all the many things happened, and he created many beings, and they overpopulated, and then he did not create death for them, and in the first day, first he created death, and then allowed the reincarnation process to follow. Okay, so it doesn't say that this is the very first start of reincarnation process, because Brahma himself has reincarnated here. Okay, so Jerry Thomas, all your so-called questions were refuted here. Since you are not aware of the cyclical creation process of even Brahma, you are confused about the entire story. Okay, so here we end. I can give much more references here, but I think this should be enough. Okay. So let's stop here.